Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. This is video number 4 in the Julie Nutting Paper Doll Altered Book series. So if you're new and you've just found this video, you want to go back to the first one. There's a playlist for all these videos, and you want to start with video number 1 that explains the project and what we're doing. So this is video number 4, and we're still working on our set of 4 girls on the edge. In this video, I'm going to finish all 3 layouts, and then we'll have 4 layouts completed with our girls on the edge. So let's get started, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. On the first page, I'm using my most narrow girl, and this is Marisol. And what I've done for my layering of her is I've stamped her base body onto cream color cardstock. I double stamped her head for layering her hair in a color that I want her hair to be, and then I'll bump up those colors with some colored pencil. I did her body on just a scrap piece of card, and what I'm going to do for that is to take some washi tape, and I'm going to layer this washi tape over the dress like this, and I can still see her through there. So not too much thought into it, just layering this dress. Let me flip that over, because I want her dress to be really flowered and colorful. And you've probably seen this technique before, but it's just super fun, so I thought I would use it on this doll. Okay, and I'm going to cut that out, because I can see the shape behind it, so I'm going to cut the dress out. And then what I'm going to do is take tissue paper from pattern. This is tissue paper out of a sewing pattern. I've chosen a couple of fun stamps and 2 inks. These are just Ranger Tim Holtz Distress inks, but I chose colors that are in the washi tape so that I can stamp this pattern all over the tissue paper. Then I'm going to fold it and create a skirt at the bottom of the dress. And then, so here's what it looks like to stamp on the inside of sewing pattern with those stamps. It looks really cute. And then what I'm going to do is just fold that back and forth to make little pleats and put it behind the dress and create a really fun skirt to the dress. So here's how Miss Marisol came out. Here's her stamped tissue paper skirt. I drew on little shoes and painted them with acrylic paint. I put some gems across the base of the dress. I drew on some straps and painted that with acrylic paint to match the shoes. Here's her layered hair from textured cardstock, a little silk ribbon bow, and that's how she turned out. I love it. And the washi tape dress. And she's going to go on the first page when the book opens, because she's the skinniest, most narrow one. So on this first set, what I'm going to do is just put her into place as far over as I can put her. And then I'm going to just draw a line in pencil. You could stamp right on the page with the stamp itself, but I think I'm going to just do a pencil line. And where her little feet are. And then I'm going to cut that page and then do a background and glue her into place onto the edge. So I just need to decide what to do with the background. So this is what that first page looks like, and then she's been glued to the edge. It's a cute way to start my book. And the words on the page were the private suite of a matriarch, but I put the words of Marisol because I'm putting the names of my girls on the page. So it's the private suite of Marisol, and it's just a pretty scene, a bedroom scene. And now I can flip to the next page and start working on the little spot for my next girl. For the next page, I'm using Priscilla. This is Priscilla. She's super cute. I love her outfit. And I just want to show you my quick layers. So I stamped the base in a cream. I did gray cardstock for what's going to be her layered boots. I did this on watercolor paper for her dress, and I colored that with watercolors. For the trim here along the edge, those ruffles, what I'm going to do is I'm using some border punches, and I just punched them on plain paper from just like printer paper, so it's kind of thin, and it made these nice little pieces, and I'm going to layer those and make her little ruffles on the side of her dress out of these layered pieces that I've punched. And then I'm going to do her hat. I'm not sure what color yet. I'll do her hair, and then I'm going to put her together and show you what she looks like. So here's how my little Priscilla doll turned out, and I just love her. I put her head down on a piece of cardstock, and I drew that great big bow and made it a big bow behind her hat. I did a choker and then added a gem to it. Here's what those border punch pieces look like. I cut her skirt in slits and slid the paper underneath in layers and layered to make her little lacy skirt. I drew little garters on her stockings and did fishnets just with a pen. I changed her boots. I added these little Victorian shoes that I had. They were little just die cut images, and I put one on each foot and added a little purple bow. And so there's Priscilla. I think she just turned out so cute. And I think what I'm going to do for the background is a Paris theme. So now what I need to do is figure out where she's going to go on the page. And I need to keep in mind that on the next page is going to be Audrey with her dress sticking out to here. So for her to show but not steal the show, she needs to be probably about right here, and that'll give enough room for that third one to be layered. So that's a great place to put her, and just like the other ones, I'm just going to take my pencil and kind of draw around her, and I'm going to do her scenery. I think I'll go straight down here to her little dress and have her scenery behind her, because I want Audrey to show up really good on the next page. So that's what I'm going to do for my edge to cut out my edge. I need to cut that out, and then this is where I'm going to paint and collage a little scene from Paris, because she looks like a little Paris girl. And when I cut off these pieces, I always save them, because they're nice thick sets that we've glued together, and they may be something that you could use later on somewhere else in the book for a tag, for a pop-up piece, a flip out. So save your pieces that you cut off. So this is the small space where Priscilla is going to be, and I want her focal point to be the Eiffel Tower and to be like Paris. So I cut this out of a travel book. I'm going to use this as the focal point on the page. So what I did was to just use acrylic paint and paint that whole section carefully in black. And then this is going to get collaged down with matte gel medium, and then I'm going to create a more of a blue effect and a nighttime sky, and then add Priscilla to the page. So here's the Priscilla in Paris page. So I did the black background. I used matte gel medium to put down the image that I cut out from that travel book of the Eiffel Tower. I had a little parasol that I put behind her like she's holding a parasol. And then I used my little dip pen and white ink. I used white Doc PH Marten ink and dip pen to write the words Priscilla in Paris. And I am going to put a little bit, I'm waiting for these to dry, a little bit of just a sparkly white glitter on those stars in the background. But here is my Priscilla. I just think that just turned out so fun, and I love her little shoes and socks and Priscilla in Paris. So this is really coming along, and I only have one page left to go with the Audrey Julie Nutting paper doll. The next one is Audrey, and this is going to be the third page in the book. So I've stamped her on cream. I've stamped her dress on this glittery floral pattern to make her skirt. And then I stamped it again on a textured green cardstock for her shoes, the little belt on her waist, the little line on the ruffle, and the hat. So those are all going to be in a dark green. So I'm going to get started and put her together and start layering her. So here is Audrey, and I put some three-dimensional flowers on her hat. I used a little gem in the center. Those are from doing diamond paintings. I got those in Happy Mail from Mimi. On her hair, I took that middle piece on her hair. I cut it out separate, and I kind of bent it so it gave her bangs some shape. Put some more gems on her blouse. There's her fancy flowered skirt. Her cute little shoes and her hat with flowers. Now what I want to do with her on her page is I'm going to put her in a garden. So she's going to go right here on this page, and this is going to be a garden. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint a blue sky, maybe paint some green grass, and then start adding in some flowers to create a flower garden for her. So for this background, I'm going to create kind of an ombre sky. So I've got 3 shades of blue from really light to a little bit darker, and a little one that's in between. And so what I'm going to do, I love to do ombre looking painting. I'm going to put my mat underneath to protect my page. And I think I want my darkest to be at the top and my lightest to be at the bottom. So that way when I make my flowers, the brightness in the page will be right in the middle. So that's what I want to do. So the first thing I do is to start with my lightest color. And I'm going to put the lightest color across the bottom. And I'm using a damp foam sponge. And I'm going to just sponge the paint on this page. Starting with my lightest color. And I want to make sure that I paint the crack. Paint your cracks. Got to make sure there's good paint in the cracks. Okay. I'm just being very careful so I don't get any paint on the previous page. And I don't mind that some of the book text shows through because for me, like I've mentioned, it's an altered book and seeing the book text is kind of fun. So now what I'm going to do is just take my next color, and that's going to go up here. And I'm leaving that light colored paint right on the sponge, and I'm just going to start working that next color into the sky. And they kind of get dabbed together. Makes a really nice sky instead of just painting your background all one color. I like that effect of light and then going darker, darker, darker. Oh shoot, see, I got paint on this page. Darn it. That's why you need to have your page protected. Very, very important. Okay, so I've got my darkest color at the top. Same thing. I'm going to just keep the paint on my sponge. Dab on that darkest color at the top. You want the top to be the very brightest. And then I'm really light-handedly just bringing that color down. So that's how you get darker, medium, and light. I'm going to be careful and cover this page. And do this side. I'm going to leave a little bit of light. Almost looks like clouds. Make sure I get the crack. Okay. So now I've got darkest, medium, and lightest at the bottom. And now I'm going to take some green paint and I'm going to put green along that bottom edge. And I'm kind of doing like a dry brush technique with the edge of my sponge. So see how that creates almost like a look of grass. I'm just pulling the paint from the bottom and pulling up and just making grass at the bottom. So now I'm going to start working on the flowers. I want this to be a really cool flower garden. So I have little dies here, and this one came from a Rolodex set where it's got a window that opens and it's got a little picket fence. So I think I'm going to do that picket fence in some textured white cardstock. Here's some grass. So that might be interesting to put in front of and behind the little picket fence. I have this Framelits Tim Holtz, and it's got 16 little tiny flower dies in these little jars, and I won't do the jars, but it's got these little pretty flowers. They're going to be very fidgety to cut out. I've used this before, and they're beautiful, but I think I'm going to take some time and cut out these flowers because I want to really make this a dimensional flower garden. So that's what I'm going to do next, is take a bunch of scraps of cardstock, cut out some fidgety flowers and some different things, assemble them together, and then start laying them out to make my garden. And here is how the page came out with Audrey, the Audrey stamp. So here's my garden with my little picket fence, the grass, those flowers that I layered, and then I had some flowers in my stash that were from like clip art, and I just kind of layered and made a garden. I drew some in the background myself, just with little paint pens and things. Put on these little dragonflies, the saying, "Give your soul some elbow room." I added her name, Audrey, up by her hat. I added a feather from my finches in her hat, which looks super cute. She's got her little buttons on her dress, so that is Audrey. So here we are. This is the end of the first project, and the first project was Girls on the Edge. So when I open my book, this is what I see. Look at my girls on the edge, how they all layer one on top of each other in their own little scenes, but look how cute that is. It's so much cuter in person, but I just love it. I love that you open the book and you see these 4 beautiful girls. It didn't make the book thick at all, so it's not gonna make the book too fat, but look at how cute. So when you turn each one, the first one is Marisol, and then you turn it to this one, which is Priscilla in Paris. And then this one, Audrey in her garden. And then this one, Fiona with my little hidden lamp tag. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I did add some things over on the side here. When you add a girl like this one, as I had shown before, I had cut that edge a little too close, so I put her out a little bit further, and then when you flipped it, it showed on this side. So I added some more pictures on the wall, some more flowers, and then did a little distress ink, and it looks perfectly fine on the back side. So you just kind of have to fix your little back sides so that when you flip it, your pages look really nice on both sides of them, like this and like this. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's been fun so far. This book is going to be really great. The next thing, stay tuned, is going to be some hidden doors, hidden windows, hidden girls, all kinds of fun things. So stay tuned for the next project in our Julie Nutting Altered Book Project. Thanks for stopping by. Go make some art, because art soothes the heart.